Alrighty guys, welcome back to the channel. Now, today is going to be a similar topic to the one that we talked about last time. Some of my viewers actually liked the video that I put out about why the newer generation doesn't want to work in the trades, and they asked me to share more of my experience in the workforce and what did I personally go through. So I'm going to share that with you guys. I'm going to go through a backlog of my stories, and you guys are going to hear everything. You can see everything in the past, but you guys are going to hear my stories and the things that I went through working in the automotive field, working in any job in general. There were some jobs that I actually really did enjoy, and it was a really good experience. And then there were some that were just like, ugh. So I'm going to just walk y'all through it. So the first thing after I graduated college, it was a technical school. I graduated it, got my degree. I got out 2 months earlier because I had really good grades. I was there all the time. I was on point. So that helped me leave the school 2 months earlier in order for me to gain experience in the workforce that I needed. So my very first job outside was Honda. So right after leaving school, I worked for Honda. I'm not going to give the specific Honda dealership name, but I did work for Honda. It was a far drive. It was like an hour away from my house. I used to drive there every day, and I started at $10 an hour. Changing oil. I was in the oil service side, so I was on the lube rack. And that's just basically anyone out of school. You don't know much. You're now starting out. You're trying to work your way up, trying to learn the ropes of everything. So I remember the first day they put me on to shadow this one guy, and he was pretty cool. I shadowed him. I learned some stuff. I learned how the system works in there and whatnot. And I worked there for about 6 months. Now, I remember the very first day I was there, and I was changing oil and rotating the tires. I remember the service manager came up to me, and the first thing that came out of his mouth was, "Wow, you're really slow." That I moved super slow. And the thing is, in my head, I wasn't moving slow. I was like trying to hustle and bustle. I was trying to get these cars in and out, trying to get them done. Trying to prove myself, trying to show a good impression. And when I heard him say that to me, that I was really slow, it kind of got to me. I don't know why he said that. Maybe I was slow, but I didn't think I was. I thought I was moving pretty well. And we hired this one boy right after me, and he moved slow as heck, like real slow. Took like 2-3 hours on one car. Meanwhile, I was knocking out cars within less than 20 minutes. Had the oil draining, I would get the oil to drain. I would unscrew the filter, let that drain, and then I would start to rotate the tires while the oil is still draining out the pan. And then once I rotate the tires, zap them all back in, the oil should be done. I would put in the new oil filter, torque the drain plug, check the car over, make sure it doesn't need anything, looked at the brakes when I was rotating the tires, put the vehicle down, and then torque all the wheels around, and then fill it up with oil, check the oil filter, check the air filter, check the cabin filter, clean it out if it needs to be cleaning, recommend the changing if it needs to be changed, and then drive the car out for the customer. And all that would be done within 20 to 25 minutes. I would have that done real fast. Also, I did want to mention that we did work on teams, so it was 2 people per car. But anyway, I was told that I was slow. So I remember one time I was at Honda and we had warranty stuff. And I didn't really understand how the whole warranty thing worked. And I forgot to write down the information about whatever was done on the warranty. And one day the manager came up to me and looked at me and screamed at me in front of everyone and said, "If you forget to put this on one more time, I am going to fire you in front of everyone, and I don't care." And he was upset. He was really, really upset with me. But little did he know I was actually quitting that day. That day was my time to put in my 2 weeks because I found another job, and that was at Toyota. I'm not going to give the place of where it was, but it was at a Toyota. And I ended up leaving him alone. I didn't say nothing because I could have told him, well, joke's on you, I'm leaving. But I didn't say anything. I waited for everyone to clear the room, and then I went up to him with respect, and I was like, hey man, I just want to let you know, I know you wanted to fire me, but I just want to let you know that I am going to be leaving pretty soon. I'm putting in my 2 weeks. I already put in my 2 weeks, so that's all I have left. But you know what? I think I'm gonna leave earlier because you wanted to fire me, so might as well just leave. And he was like, I don't care, go do what you gotta do. Okay, no problem. So that same day, the next day I went home. I went home that day. The next day I took my mom's vehicle. We had a RAV4 at the time, and I drove it to work. And I was loading up my toolbox right after work. And he came up to me and he was like, "Hey man, you really leaving?" And I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Okay, so here's the thing. The guy that was supposed to take your place, the guy that we were hiring, never showed up for the interview. And I would like it if you can stay the full 2 weeks, help us out, we're cool, right?" And I looked at him and I was like, "No, I'm not staying. You just threatened to fire me in front of everyone. Unfortunately for you, I was giving up my 2 weeks already, but you wanted to embarrass me in front of everyone, so I'm just gonna leave. I don't care." So I left. I took a 2 week vacation, and then I worked at Toyota, which was an awesome experience until I got blamed for hitting someone's vehicle, and I got fired for that. I never touched someone's vehicle. They told me they had proof of it, that it was on camera. I asked to see the proof, and I never got the proof. I was just fired. So I think they were wrongfully firing people at the time, and they just either that or things weren't going good at that dealership. So they let me go. But after that, I did find a job at Ford. I can't give where it was, but it's a Ford. And I was a parts guy. I worked in parts. It was awesome. Awesome experience. I had so much fun. Loved the people in the parts department. Worked so much in there, and I had to do all kinds of odd stuff while doing parts, and I had to like go deliver things for the owner. The owner used to like be at the dealership every day, so I had to go deliver things for him at his personal house and whatever, like weird stuff. And even his girlfriend, I would have to go deliver stuff to his girlfriend's house, set it up. Like she bought a fireplace, or he bought her a fireplace, and I would have to go to her house, set it up. Just weird stuff they would have me do. And I didn't complain. I was getting paid by the hour, and at that time it was pretty good money. It was $13.50. So at Toyota it was $12.50, and then from there it was like $13.50. So I bounced up a little bit, and one day I had to go deliver a door to another dealership. So I went over there, delivered the door to the not another dealership, but to the body shop of Ford. So they opened up this new body shop, and I had to deliver this door to them. And when I went to deliver the door, one of the guys there always taught me the garage door in the body shop doesn't stay up. It always keeps falling down. So you have to keep like pushing it up till it like locks itself in, and it'll just stay up. Some kind of weird stuff. And that's what I learned, and that's how I've been doing it. So I did that until it finally stayed up there. And when it stayed up there, the owner saw me. He walked up to me and he was like, "Are you stupid?" He was like, "Are you freaking stupid? You're trying to break my door, huh? I can't believe how like dim-witted you are, that you are gonna just do this and damage my door. There's a broom right here to hold it up." First off, I told him, "Hold up. First of all, don't talk to me like that. I'm not stupid. Second of all, this is how I was taught to do it. I didn't know you had a specific stick to hold your door up, and you're telling me to hold it up with a broom. It's a heavy garage door. I'm not gonna hold that up with a broom. That's how I've been told to put the door up there. That's not my fault. Maybe you should fix that." And he kept calling me names, and I looked at him and I was like, "Say something one more time, please." At this time, I was pretty young. I was in my early 20s. I'm 30 now. I was in my early 20s, and it was I didn't lose my cool with him, but I kept calm. But he was being really disrespectful, so I kept telling him to stop. Seriously, stop. And on my way back to my location, the manager calls me in, and he tells me that the owner wants me gone. So I had to be fired. So that was the second job I was fired from, which was fine. Then I got tired of being in the automotive field. I got tired of being in every field. So I decided to enroll myself back into school. I went to school for not occupational therapy. I went to school in the medical side, so I took all the science classes. I tried to get into radiation therapy. I didn't like that. Then I went into occupational therapy, and during that time, I worked at a gym, which the owners at that gym were so terrible to people, like really terrible. The gym actually ended up closing down because they were just horrendous to the staff and horrendous to the people who actually worked out there. So they closed down. The second job was TD Bank, which I have to say, TD Bank is one of the best. Well, in my experience, I loved it. That was the best job ever. The amount of respect you got from your coworkers, from the people. I mean, some of the customers were kind of weird, but you got so much respect working there. It was just an awesome feeling. I think I was making 17 at the time, so I bounced up pretty high there. And it was really good. I ended up being a teller too, and it was pretty awesome. It was really really cool. It was a great experience. I learned so much. I handled so much money. It was just different being in that business side of work instead of being in a trade side. It was different. And I ended up leaving. I worked there for like 2 years. I ended up leaving there to continue my schooling. So I didn't get fired or I didn't leave it because I was angry with people. I just left because I needed to do my schooling. And I got a job at a physical therapy location. Physical therapy location was also cool. I met a lot of cool people. I met my friend Joel that you guys have watched on my video when I did the Honda review and the Honda drive with him on his stick shift Honda. He was a really cool friend. I met him. We still talk up to now. He's actually doing really, really well for himself. So Joel, if you're watching this, what's up, man? But after that, I went into school for occupational therapy. And during that time of going to school for occupational therapy, I ended up opening my own shop. It wasn't a shop, it was more of a mobile mechanic scene, but I did have a garage that I worked out of for a little bit too. And working in this mobile mechanic scene, I met so many different people. It was so awesome, so fun. The experience that I've gained from that was just like out of this world. It allowed me to see that I can succeed at any business that I open up. The amount of people that I was able to make happy, and I did make really good money off of that business. And during that time I was in school and people were calling my phone and I was just like, you know what? Why am I in school? I either have to choose the business or I have to choose the school. And I ended up dropping out of school and pursuing the business because the business was bringing so much more money. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to work at the business. I'm going to get the business going to where it needs to be. And that's what I did. I focused on that for a while. Fast forward several years later, and I ended up moving to Florida. Now I'm here. I'm in Florida. Things are going good. I'm living on my own. First time I ever been away from my family. Living on my own. Came to meet my ex-girlfriend. Stay out here with her. She was my girlfriend at the time, but now ex. And I ended up getting a job at a diesel company. First time ever working on diesel. I was working on heavy equipment trucks. Semi-trucks. And I've never touched those before. Never, ever, ever. And I learned what I learned about diesels here. And with that job, I was working in a city called Claremont. And it was an hour and a half away from where I am. So that was a long drive I used to have to do during the nights. My shift was like, I used to come home from work at like 3 a.m. It was bad. And I did that for about a year. That one I ended up transferring. I'm sorry, I did that for like 6 months, and then I transferred out to one closer to me, which was like 20 minutes away from me. And that one was pretty good up until I met a lot of racist people in there. Like, I didn't think racism really existed like that until I experienced it in this workforce. And the first time I experienced the racism was there was only one type of race in that one particular race in that shop, and I was one of two different color people. And one of the boys approached me, but every time he approached me, he would wiggle his finger at me like this: "You come here, you come here." And I didn't like that. So I observed him for a couple weeks to see how he was with his friends and how he was with everyone else. And let me see if he was like that to everyone else. And he was a technician in charge. So you had to answer to him. So I noticed that he wasn't doing that to anyone else, but only to me. So I told his supervisor that I feel disrespected and they need to do something about this because it doesn't sit right with me. And the supervisor didn't want to do anything about it. So I said, okay, no problem. I'll just take it into my own hands. So I ended up talking to him. He tried to talk to me one day and I was like telling him how I think he's racist. I think he has a problem. He always like wiggles his finger at me like I'm a dog and I don't appreciate that. And we need to do something about that. And he told me that he was sorry. He didn't realize he's not racist. He has a lot of colored friends. And I was just like, okay, that doesn't mean that you're not racist, but all right, cool. And he was just like, I never realized I did that. So my fault. And after that, we actually became cool with each other. I wouldn't say we were good friends, but we became really cool with each other. He respected me. I respected him. We talked normal, whatever. But then I really came across another racist guy, like a legit racist guy. Like he would make Taliban jokes at me. He would because I'm Indian descent, but I'm from Trinidad. He was too illiterate to understand where that's from, and he would make these suicide bomber jokes. He would make these jokes about me being a Muslim. He would make these jokes about me going to like bomb places. He would make these jokes about me just being like something Talibanish. I don't know. He just, even in his phone book, he had me saved as the Taliban. Like, it wasn't even funny to the point. He would always comment on my skin color, stuff like that. So one day I wrote to him in a text message because I didn't want to make a big scene in front of everyone. And I told him, hey man, I would really appreciate it if you can stop with these racist jokes. They're not funny. They're kind of annoying and you're pushing the limit now. Because he would make these jokes in front of everyone. And a lot of them would laugh, thinking it's the funniest thing out there. But I didn't laugh at all because I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was really insulting. And he would also make a lot of sexual harassment jokes towards females who were working in the shop. And they felt uncomfortable, but they would just like laugh, but you could tell they were uncomfortable. And anyway, after I told him that, he wanted to fight me the next day. He told me that his wife saw the message. She thinks he's a racist. I'm like, well, you are a racist, dog. Like, you, what do you mean she thinks you're a racist? Good, she found out that who you really are. And he wanted to fight. And he kept coming close to me, and I kept telling him to back up. And I took a hammer, and I almost swung it. But I'm not really a violent guy, guys, so I don't want you to think that I'm super violent. But I'll defend myself if I have to. We didn't speak to each other for about 8 months. 8 months we didn't talk to each other. We had issues. And then after, he never apologized. He just started to talk to me normal again. And I was just like, whatever. I just let it be. I just left him alone and we just started talking. But he never made those jokes again. I think he realized that I was super serious about what I was saying. And it was pissing me off. So that is the crazy story of my life. So now I'm doing here YouTube. I'm trying to do some other business endeavors in my life. I'm seriously sick and tired of working for people. And I can care less about what anyone else has to say out there about if they think I'm lazy or not. I'm far from lazy. I do so many things a day and very productive things I do. And yeah, I can care less if anyone thinks I'm lazy, if any of these older boomers or whatever think I'm lazy and this and that. But I focus on things that'll make me more money than going to work a 9 to 5 and stressing out and having to ask for PTO and stuff like that. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, but it doesn't work for me. It might work for someone else out there. It might work for you. It might work for him. It might work for her. It just doesn't work for me. That life doesn't work for me. I hate having to ask permission to go on vacation, especially if it's something urgent that I need to do. I hate having to feel like they are my parent, that I need to like I need to beg them for something. Another thing about working for others is they control how far you move up in the world. They control what you learn. They control what you can do in the company. Actually, before that, I worked for the other guy that I told you about, in the other company, the one that was in my video, and there were comments that he used to say to me, like, "Hey, I want to show you something," and then midway of showing me, he would be like, "You know what? Forget it. If I show you anymore, you're gonna end up taking my job from me." And he was being serious about it. I thought he was joking at first, but he was 100% serious. He, I think, felt threatened by my presence. That I was a quick learner, that I was picking up a lot of things really fast, and that I found easier ways to do them. And I took initiative and in the shop, and I think he felt threatened by that and didn't want me to excel quick. So that was my cue to leave, and I ended up doing that. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this second podcast of me talking about what it is that I went through in life and other things like that. And I want you to know, if you guys are going through things like that too, you can definitely find your way out of it. You can definitely find out who you are. The most important thing is that you don't let people talk to you any way that they think they can. And you stand up for what you believe, and you stand up for what you think is right. Always stand up for yourself, no matter what. And there's always a way out of everything. You can always find your path. I think the most important message I'm going to leave here today is take a moment to yourself and try to find who you are, and everything will be good. So with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, please leave a like, comment, and share. I'll see you all for the next one. Peace.